I'm here with Claudia King, founder and CEO of Firmsy. Claudia, your team work 4-day week.
Correct.
I'd love for you to share how that kind of came about and also the impact that has on the team and also you.
Sure. We started trialling the 4-day week in August 2020. So we've been doing it for nearly 2 years. After having worked in the legal industry and working very long hours, balance has become really important to me, and I think the flexibility of running a company like Firmsy, which is largely online, and the flexibility that offers has been really great, and I really wanted to promote wellness and balance in my company.
Mm-hmm.
So I read about Andrew Barnes and what he was doing at Perpetual Guardian with the 4-day week.
Yep.
And was keen to trial it. So my leadership team and I discussed it at one of our quarterly retreats and decided that we would trial it for 6 months. And it has been really popular. So we trialled it for 6 months. I mean, it didn't all go smoothly.
Yep.
But we worked on it and we figured it out as we went. Some of the challenges we had was that, particularly the people, because a lot of people on my team are lawyers or ex-lawyers, and so for them to take a day off was quite a significant
Not used to it.
change.
Yeah.
And so while they liked the idea of being able to take the 5th day off, they actually weren't. And when we started doing a bit of a survey about it, the people who were feeling more stress and pressure were the people who were not taking the day off. And so once we kind of got into it, the other thing that we really had to do was, because the idea is that even though you work, because it's not about cramming 40 hours into 4 days, it's about working 8 hours less a week. So you still work 8 hours Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then you have day off. So it's about cramming 40 hours of work into 32 hours. So it's all about efficiency and working smarter, not harder. And so to measure that, it's really about having really clear KPIs for every person, so that the productivity levels are staying the same. And I mean, at the end of the day, I don't really mind how many hours people work as long as they get the results that I expect them to.
And I'd love for you to share what you personally do on your day off, but some of the things that that's allowed some of the individuals that were a little bit kind of resistant in kind of taking that time off, some of the hobbies and things that they're now exploring.
Yeah, sure. So with me, I start every Friday off with a personal training session, and I try not to have much else planned. It's really a day for me to do some, I still use it to do, I suppose, what I call deep work, and work on some of the other things that I'm interested in, some of the sort of other projects that I've got going on, not-for-profit type projects, and getting some of those off the ground. So I try to keep the day clear. From time to time, they have started getting kind of fill up with just appointments and things like that, and then I have to kind of unwind that again, because that's not the point of having the day. The day is really to
so
focus.
Discipline is actually quite important with it.
I think so. And other people use it, for time with their family, time with their kids, doing hobbies like hiking and climbing the mountain and wakeboarding and all sorts of water sports my team are into. Volunteering. A lot of my team, they have side hustles, so they focus on those.
So you're currently employing 25 staff.
Correct.
Noticed on the website you've got another 6-7 advertised. How do you find recruiting locally, and with the onslaught of kind of remote working, how's that changed and adapted the business's views on what you need from a resource perspective?
So right from day one in my business, I've had my team has been largely remote. Now we've got about 9 people here in the office in New Plymouth, and everybody else is in other parts of New Zealand and Australia. And So, and that sort of really happened because a lot of the people that we employ are developers or product people, and there isn't a lot of talent locally in those areas, and so we've had to sort of from day one go outside of New Plymouth to find those people. So we've been well set up from sort of day one to be able to do that. So that's kind of just the norm for us. In some parts of the business, like customer success and the more sort of operational account side, hiring locally has been great. We've been able to, build a really good culture in the office here locally, even though the team's just small. But so I guess for some areas of the business, hiring locally has gone really well for us. But other areas, particularly the more product technical
skills
type areas, we haven't been able to find that locally.
So let's talk about leadership. Who's been the biggest influence from a leadership perspective on your career?
When I was a lawyer, I did a lot of commercial work for some of the bigger businesses here locally. And when I think of people who have influenced me, it was a lot of the founders and CEOs of those companies. So like Peter White Robinson, Kim and Graham Gilkison, those people who were doing amazing things in their businesses locally, buying and selling other businesses, and ultimately, selling out to bigger companies and getting a great exit. And I was very inspired by that and how just the risks that they took and experiencing it with them was it was so exciting, and I was just like, I want to do this for myself. So going through it as a lawyer with these people, sort of step by step through sort of starting their business, growing it over the years to a point where they can sell it for many millions to somebody else. I found that really, really inspiring. So a lot of local people like that, like Richard Ellis from Firmsy Engineering or Dialogue. So definitely local people have had a real influence. The people involved in my business now on my board of directors, like Ian Frame and Bryce Barnett, have been really inspiring to me. And then if I think sort of the female leaders that I absolutely love are like Teresa Gadding, Mel Perkins of Canva, like Sarah Blakely of Spanx, are all super inspiring to me as well.
You mentioned earlier that you had a coach many years ago, and obviously I know that coaching is a really key part of your business. Why do you think coaching is important for not just for a leader, but actually also for other people within the organisation?
I nearly always have a coach. When I don't, pretty quickly the wheels start to fall off. If I'm not being sort of challenged regularly by a coach who's helping me grow, I do start to feel like I'm just going round and round in circles. So I love to always have a business coach. I've used quite a few different ones over the years, and often I'll have a couple at a time that are helping me with different parts of my business. For example, like at the moment, I've got a business coach who helps software company founders grow their businesses. So I've got him, and then I've also got another coach, and she's helping me around leadership. So I like to have at least one always. And like when I look back at some of the most kind of pivotal moments of my career, it's been because the coach that I've been working with has pushed me to ask myself really hard questions about what I'm doing and where I'm going and what I want and what my values are, and am I in alignment? And it's those things that have really helped me to have the confidence to make the decisions that I have.
Claudia, a leader and a disruptor within your marketplace, which has profoundly been very traditional, it's clear that you speak with so much energy and so much passion about the space. How's your resilience been over the years when other people are kind of maybe pushing against you and fighting, saying that what you're trying to do is just not going to work?
My resilience has definitely grown a lot. I can remember when I first launched Legal Beagle back in, I think it was 2012, and at that time the thought of doing legal online was pretty mind-blowing for a lot of lawyers, not really for people generally, but for other lawyers. think it was pretty mind-blowing. And I remember being at an event locally here and was talking to another lawyer, and then somebody else came over to us, and this lawyer introduced me to this other person and said, "Oh, this is Claudia, she's just a silly girl with a silly website."
Wow.
So we joke about that quite a lot. I should get it printed on a t-shirt actually. And then there were times as well when, you know, there was stuff like that online, and, you know, I've been trolled, and I can still remember being at home and like hiding under my duvet for like a couple of days. So, you know, it definitely hit me harder in the early days. But I think through a lot of coaching and sort of mindset strength work, I've really developed a lot of resilience now. So yeah, and I mean, things still affect me sometimes when people, when lawyers, you know, feel threatened by what I'm doing or by something that I've said, and might say something unkind. Like it still happens, but I don't really notice it too much anymore. Just the occasional comment might hit a bit hard. I think it probably always will, but yeah, overall I feel pretty strong.
I've been watching some of your videos recently, and one of the things that I'd love for you to share is this aspect of the soul stroll.
Oh yes. Yeah. So over the last couple of years, I've definitely been on a journey around my health and wellness. As a lawyer, I developed some pretty unhealthy habits around you know, fitness and exercise and nutrition, and so it's, you know, it's taken me a while to sort of undo that, and it started off pretty slowly in terms of like being committed to getting 7 hours of sleep a night, where earlier, you know, I'd live on for 5 hours a night. So that was the first thing, and then the second thing I started doing was soul strolls. So I'd go for a walk and just enjoy moving my body, and and now I'm like a full soul stroll addict. I try and soul stroll most days, and that's the time where I think about things. I love to sort of connect the dots of life, and I also use that as time to listen to podcasts, books, and also to call people and have those conversations and remain connected with family and friends.
Last couple of questions. Favorite business stroke leadership book that you've read or reread many times?
So one is Rocket Fuel. And Rocket Fuel is all about kind of finding your integrator. So every entrepreneur has an integrator, and it's really two entrepreneurs that come together to run and to grow a business, because it's based on the premise that you can't do it alone. So I believe that every entrepreneur needs an integrator. I have an amazing one in my business, and I just know how much value that's added for me. So that's the first one, and I think anybody who's growing a business needs to read that book. Another one would be Shoe Dog, which is the memoir by the founder of Nike, and it's just such an epic story. It's so inspiring and motivating, and it's just worth a read for some inspo. And probably the other one that I've read lately that I love is Atomic Habits, and just the reminder that, you know, the cumulative effect of good habits is just so huge. You sort of forget that, you know, doing certain things on a regular basis, whether it's daily or whatever, and not breaking the chain and the cumulative effect of that kind of seems obvious, but the book really reinforces the science behind it.
So last question, for those people that know you and for those people that don't know you, colour plays a big part in your life. If you just look at Firmsy as you drive past.
I'm completely off brand today.
So the last question is, what's your favourite colour and why?
So my favourite colour is orange, but I'm wearing orange earrings. I've got orange shoes, you can't see them, but I'm wearing orange shoes. So my favourite colour is orange, and until recently I wore a lot of orange, but probably maybe 18 months ago I hired a stylist for the first time, Marianne, and she taught me that orange is pretty much the worst colour that I can wear for my skin tone.
Okay.
And I was all like, okay, well, it's good to finally learn that.
Yep.
having got married in an orange wedding dress. So yeah, so I don't wear as much orange as I used to, but I just still love it. It's such a vibrant color. When I look at it, it just brings me joy. It makes me smile. It's fun.
Fantastic. Yeah. Claudia, this has been a great interview. Thank you very much. This is the Leadership Lab interview series where I interview many people from the Taranaki region and just find out more about themselves, their business and their insights. Till next time, bye for now.